This is Kärcher RVM4 Comfort Extra. Kärcher makes a very specific claim about its robot vacuums. It says the entire data transfer between the app on your smartphone and your robot vacuum mop runs via a cloud to servers located in Germany only. I think that's a very specific statement. It says that on the English or the international page underneath the data protection and updates, right here. And the same thing is written in Finnish on the Finnish page. And that's important because I'm a customer in Finland. And it also says the same thing in German page. And it's a very specific statement. Let's try it out. So right now I'm running the latest firmware and the latest Kärcher Indoor version as shown on the video. I currently have my maps here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset it to factory settings. So reset and delete the robot. And let's start over again from scratch. I also physically will reset it by pressing 5 seconds for the home button. Wait for the sound. And then press 5 seconds again until it confirms that
System has been restored.
Great. Now I will add back the robot to my account. My account's country setting is Finland. My home is located at Finland. I have a Finnish IP address. I don't use any VPNs. This VLAN that I'm going to connect this robot doesn't have any restrictions whatsoever. Normally run these IoT devices in a very restricted VLAN, but for testing purposes, I'm just letting it connect anywhere it wants, just to see where it wants to connect. Okay, let's go through these basic settings. Let's just check that we still have the latest firmware, 14.7.029. That's the latest currently. And let's check the privacy policy. That's currently it's the version from November 2025. And the user agreement, that's also, I think it's in the bottom. That's also from November 2025. Then I let the robot vacuum clean my house and I was capturing the network traffic, how it's connecting to internet. I initially noticed DNS requests to China. They are using hard-coded Chinese server, but the more interesting part is the Picea domain. Picea is the actual manufacturer of this device, and Kärcher is just rebranding it. All the traffic is either HTTPS in port 443 or MQTT in port 8883, and everything is encrypted. DNS requests to 3i Robotics also confirms that this is made by Picea. 3i Robotics is the former name that they used to have. If we look at the endpoints of this data and sort it by traffic, we can see that most of the data is going to United States. Some of it is going to Germany as well. And there's the Chinese DNS server underneath here, but that's only DNS requests. Some data is going to Germany, but most of it is appointed to United States IPs. If we look at the owners of those IPs currently, all the United States IPs it connects to are owned by Amazon. The German IP is not owned by Kärcher, it's owned by Tencent. Tencent is a Chinese company. Next, let's look at where my phone is trying to connect to. The only app that I currently have on my phone open is the Kärcher Indoor Robots, and oh boy, it likes to talk to a lot of different places. I tried to filter out any Apple background services that is connecting to somewhere. So most of this data should be only the connections that the Kärcher Indoor Robots app is connecting to. And when we look at the endpoints, we can see a lot of different IP addresses. My phone is on power saving mode, so it should restrict background services. And the only app that we have open is Kärcher Indoor Robots. I was messing around in the app, pretty much pressing all the menus, so I could see where the different menus are connecting to. And this is the whole list that we can see. A lot of United States, familiar German server, and surprisingly, a lot of China, and apparently random Singaporean server as well. But major of it is going to United States. Somehow there is only one endpoint to Germany. And if we look who owns these IPs, there is familiar US companies there, but there is also, interestingly, some Huawei IP addresses. And apparently there is VPN marked IP addresses as well. So that's a little bit worrying. But there seem to be a lot of Huawei Chinese addresses. And yeah, a lot of different US addresses as well. Huawei Cloud Service Data Center. So what is being sent here? The amount of bytes that were sent was not excessive, but why is it connecting there in the first place? And does it change in the future how much there's going to be sent there? For some reason there's Google as well, and why is it marked as a VPN? So that's really a bit worrying as well. The amount of data that is being transferred to these Chinese IP addresses is minimal, so probably nothing. Your personal data is being sent there. But why do we need to have them in the first place? Is it always going to be like this, or is it possible that someday we'll send there much more data when we are not looking? I also took monitoring sample to see where my phone connects when I don't have any apps open, and no, there is none of these connections visible. However, do note that IP geolocation doesn't itself prove where the physical server is located. However, Kärcher was specific, very specific. Now let's be fair, this doesn't prove that your personal data is being transferred outside Germany. However, it proves that there is communication to IPs outside Germany. Communication itself is encrypted and we cannot know what is being transferred.